Open any social media feed in India today, and you will step into a blizzard of contradictory claims. On one side, you will see posts declaring a monumental victory for national security. Scroll down, and a different post warns of an imminent, catastrophic assault on human rights and minority religions. At the center of this storm is India's proposed Foreign Contribution Regulation Act, the FCRA bill. But we aren't going to parse the legal language of the legislation itself. Instead, we are looking at how this policy has been weaponized into an information war. Stakeholders run intense, competing public relations campaigns to control how the public perceives the law. Navigating this environment requires looking past the viral graphics and emotional headlines to see how these narratives are constructed. The first major narrative comes directly from the government of India. They frame the new rules as a necessary shield for national sovereignty. Supporters of the bill argue it is designed to tighten financial transparency. They point to the need to track foreign funding to prevent unchecked influence from abroad. To justify the crackdown, this site highlights specific organizations they claim violate regulations. A recurring focal point is the alleged misuse of foreign funds to finance unlawful religious conversions. Officially, the government strictly maintains that the legislation is purely regulatory. Their defensive messaging insists the bill does not target Christians or any specific religious community. This framing links administrative compliance directly to patriotism, which forces critics to defend their motives rather than their policy positions. A completely different narrative emerges from Christian churches, NGOs, and civil society organizations. They view the bill as an existential threat to their independence. These groups argue the law dramatically increases government control over independent operations. They point to the constant threat of administrative pressure and the arbitrary suspension of their registration. They elevate the stakes to a humanitarian level. According to this narrative, the potential loss of foreign funding threatens the survival of educational institutions, rural hospitals, and charitable ministries that rely on those donations. This domestic concern is amplified internationally. U.S. lawmakers and global religious freedom advocates regularly echo these warnings, citing the growing administrative pressure on Christian institutions in India. The Indian government immediately rejects this international criticism, reiterating that the legislation is strictly an internal matter of financial regulation, completely divorced from religion. This framing shifts the stakes of domestic bureaucratic regulation into the realm of global human rights. A map of these messages reveals a decentralized network of politicians, activists, and commentators, all promoting their own specific priorities. To build momentum, this decentralized network relies on pulling in unrelated regional issues to fuel its national campaigns. Isolated incidents in tribal regions have become the primary emotional battleground for these competing national frames. Supporters of the bill directly link foreign missionary activity to religious conversions in these tribal communities. On the other side, Christian organizations argue that incidents of violence against minorities are separate law and order issues, completely unrelated to foreign funding. Both sides selectively draft these complex regional incidents into the FCRA debate. They use them as triggers to generate an emotional response and validate their broader national narratives. Despite their opposing goals, all stakeholders rely on the exact same to the evitation tactics: crafting emotional headlines, selective reporting of incidents, and appealing to religious identity or to national pride. Social media algorithms are designed to reward these exact tactics. They accelerate emotionally engaging, short-form narratives, pushing them much faster and further than any detailed discussion of legal policy. When complex geopolitical and religious issues are flattened into viral content, objective truth becomes a secondary casualty to persuasion. When information campaigns are this decentralized, a social feed cannot serve as a primary source for understanding policy. Audiences have to employ strict media literacy to separate factual policy from emotionally weaponized messaging.
DEITV, World Christian Updates.